NFL players are widely perceived as extremely wealthy people. However, nearly 80% of them will go broke. NFL players receive multi-million-dollar annual deals and signing bonuses all of the time. The number one pick in the 2021 NFL Draft received $24.2 million for his signing bonus on his first contract. However, statistics show that 78% of NFL players will go bankrupt or fall into severe financial stress within 2 years of retirement, according to Kiplinger.com. In this speech, I will talk about some of the reasons why the majority of players in the NFL will go broke, and how players can create a financial plan to support retirement. Also, I will discuss the wage gap between players. How do NFL players make all this money but end up bankrupt? The first reason players may go broke is that they simply were never taught how to properly manage their money. There is very little financial wisdom taught in the NFL. Most players trust their agents or their financial advisors with the task of managing their money. This can leave players knowing very little about their finances and or get swindled by their agent in retirement. The nearly 80% of players includes veterans as well as rookies. This means that young players do not have good mentors that they can go to in the locker room. This overall lack of information creates a nasty cycle of players going broke. Without proper financial education, most NFL players live paycheck to paycheck because of their extreme spending habits. This is sustainable during a player's career. However, this is setting up a player for failure during retirement. Another thing people do not take into consideration is the difference in wages between the highest paid NFL player and the lowest. The highest paid player in the NFL, star QB Patrick Mahomes, will make $45 million in one season of play. To contrast that, the league minimum is $610,000. This means Patrick Mahomes will make nearly 75 times as much money as a player on the league minimum salary. As of September 10th of this year, there are 41 players who make the minimum salary in the NFL. The lowest paid player in the NFL over 2020 was Tyron Swoops. In the year of 2020, he made $16,800 as a member of the practice squad for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team. Tyron Swoops started his career as a quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. After his college career, he was undrafted free agent by the Seattle Seahawks. He bounced on and off their practice squad and active roster for the next couple seasons, appearing in 7 regular season games, and he totaled 109 snaps during those games. While the star players you know and see on commercials everywhere make millions and millions of dollars from their salary and endorsements can remain financially stable after their careers, they are not the majority. Players can avoid going broke by doing a couple things. Players can make a budget and stick to it. Lions receiver Michael Rothstein limits himself to a $60,000 a year budget to spend. The rest of his $3.6 million 4-year contract is put up for spending in the future. He can live off the $60,000 comfortably, and he's definitely set up in the future. Another way you can be financially wise is to hire a good financial advisor who you trust with your best interests. Another thing NFL players may need to limit is their spending on friends and family. There's nothing wrong with buying your mother a house if you're a number 1 draft pick and that is something you've always wanted to do. However, if you take your friends shopping for shoes and luxury clothing every weekend, then your money will drain quickly. The key for players is to not never spend your money, but to control your financial splurges. For example, every NFL player can afford one nice new car to drive around and save money from retirement. But every NFL player cannot afford to buy 5 Bugattis and 3 for their best friends who they grew up with. In this speech, I have discussed some of the reasons why the majority of players in the NFL will go broke, the wage gap between NFL players, and how players can create a financial plan to support retirement. The struggles of athletes in the NFL are not likened to only professional football. Professional athletes of all sports with any other occupation are likely to experience financial struggle. Stud defensive end Warren Sapp earned a total of $82 million in his 12-year career. However, after a life of horrible financial decisions, he was forced to file for bankruptcy just 5 years after his retirement. In conclusion, financial education is more important than the dollar amount in your bank account. Now this is for my works cited page. The first author is Reem Abdelazem, and the article was posted on October 2nd, 2021. And the title is, "Who is the lowest paid player in the NFL? Is there a minimum salary in American football?" And then my second source is R.L. Brown is the author, and the title of that, and that was posted on May 3rd, 2021. And the title of that is "How NFL Draftees Can Avoid Going Broke." And my third author is M. Elliott, and that article was posted on September 7th, 2021, and that article is titled "7 Players Who Went Broke After They Retired."